Good morning, students. Hope all are safe at your home. Moving on for chapter number 6, tissues. Hope all might have got the textbooks from the school. So, while referring this video, just underline the important points which are mentioned in your textbook. The first topic is the introduction of tissues. In the previous chapter, we have studied the structure of cell. Cell is a structural and functional unit of all living organisms. In the unicellular organisms, a single cell performs all basic functions, but in multicellular organisms, different life functions are carried out by different groups of cells. These cells are produced by the process of cell division, which we had seen in the earlier part. Initially, all the cells produced by the cell divisions are of the same type. Later on, these cells start showing structural differentiation for different functions. Thus, there commences tissue formation. A group of cells that are similar in structure and work together to achieve a particular function forms a tissue. Tissues can be simple, consisting of a single cell type, or complex, consisting of more than one cell type. The cells of these tissues are usually, though not necessarily, in physical contact with each other. Before studying various organs of human body, it is necessary to know the microstructuring of some organs. The study of such microstructure of organs is called histology. All organs are made up of different types of tissues. These tissues are a group of cells performing particular functions of specific type, of similar shape, of common origin, structure, and bearing specific properties. Our next topic is plant tissues. Plants are composed of three major organ groups: roots, stems, and leaves. These organs are comprised of various types of tissues. On the basis of the ability of their cells to divide, tissues are classified into two types: meristematic tissue and permanent tissue. In this section, we all will look at various types of plant tissue along with their function. First is meristematic tissues. Tissues where cells are constantly dividing are called meristems or meristematic tissues. These regions produce new cells. These new cells are generally small, spherical, oval, or polygonal in shape. They are compactly arranged with no intercellular spaces. They possess abundant cytoplasm with large prominent nucleus. The vacuoles, if present in the cells, are quite small in size. On the basis of their positions, the meristematic tissues are classified into three types: apical meristems, lateral meristems, intercalary meristems. First, apical meristem. Apical meristems are located at the tips of root and shoots. As new cells form in the meristems, the roots and the shoots will increase in length. This vertical growth is also known as primary growth. Second, lateral meristems. Lateral meristems occupy lateral position in the plant organs. They account for secondary growth in plants. Secondary growth is generally horizontal growth. A good example would be the growth of the tree trunk in Git. The third one is intercalary meristems. Intercalary meristems are internodal in their positions and are found lying between masses of permanent tissues. This type of tissue is short-lived and show meristematic properties for short period and merges with the permanent tissues. This tissue can be distinctly seen in internodes and in sheeting leaf bases of grasses. Our next topic is permanent tissues. The permanent tissues are formed by cell divisions of meristematic tissue followed by their differentiation into definite type of tissue cells. These differentiated cells do not have ability to divide thereafter. They are classified into two types: simple permanent tissue and complex permanent tissue. I repeat, it is classified into two types: simple permanent tissue and complex permanent tissue. Next is simple permanent tissues. Simple permanent tissues are made up of only one type of cells. There are three basic types of these tissues and they are named and classified on the basis of their structure and function as follows. First, parenchyma. Second, collenchyma. Third, sclerenchyma. First, parenchyma. This simple permanent tissue is made up of thin-walled living cells and present in almost all the organs of plants. Cells are spherical, oval or elliptical, polygonal or elongated. Intercellular spaces are present between the cells. The cells possess large vacuoles in their cytoplasm. Parenchyma containing chloroplast with a green pigment chlorophyll is called chlorenchyma. It performs the function of photosynthesis. In aquatic plants, large air cavities are present in parenchyma to give buoyancy to the plants to help them to float. Such a parenchyma type is called arenchyma. I repeat, in aquatic plants, large air cavities are present in parenchyma to give buoyancy to the plants to help them to float. Such a parenchyma type is called arenchyma. This tissue provides support to plants and synthesizes food and stores it. The parenchyma of stem and root also stores nutrients and water. The cells also store tannins, gums, various crystals, resin, and some useful inorganic substances. This tissue is found to fill up the spaces between different tissues and thus acts as a ground tissue or matrix. Next topic is collenchyma. The cells of this simple permanent tissue are living with spherical, oval, or polygonal shape. The cell wall is made up of cellulose, which shows the deposition of pectin. Such deposition is more prominent in the angular regions of the cells where they come in contact with each other. Hence, the tissue is called collenchyma. These cells are devoid of intercellular spaces. They are always found beneath the epidermis and hence form hypodermis. Its function is this tissue provides mechanical strength to the organs and hence it is known as living mechanical tissue. An important objective: which permanent tissue is known as the living mechanical tissue? The answer is collenchyma. I repeat, the tissue provides mechanical strength to the organs and hence it is known as living mechanical tissue. Next function is the tissue also renders elasticity and flexibility to the organs. It allows easy bending in various parts of the plants without breaking, especially leaves and stem. Next topic is sclerenchyma. This simple permanent tissue makes the plant hard and stiff. The cells are dead. During the formation of this tissue, the cytoplasm and nuclei disintegrate and the primary wall made up of cellulose becomes thickened with lignin internally and forms a secondary wall. As a result, the cell wall becomes thick and lumen of the cell gets reduced. Cells of sclerenchyma are of two types: sclerenchyma fibers and sclerids, or known as stone cells. First, sclerenchyma fibers. These are long, fiber-like, narrow, fusiform and tapering at both the ends. The intercellular spaces in the tissues are almost absent and hence cells appear to be polygonal in transverse section. They are found in stem, around vascular bundles and in the veins of leaves. Second, sclerids or stone cells. They are somewhat isodiametric or variously shaped. They can be observed in the outer seed coat of bean, pea, green grams, nuts, pulp of chiku, and pear. What is its function? They provide mechanical strength and rigidity to the plants and hence they are called dead mechanical tissues. Next topic is complex permanent tissue. Tissues composed of more than one type of cell are generally referred to as complex tissues. Xylem and phloem are the two most important complex tissues in a plant, as they are associated with the transport of water, ions, and soluble food substances. They are also called as conducting or vascular tissues. I repeat, as these tissues are associated with the transport of water, ions, and soluble food substances, they are also known as conducting or vascular tissues. First, xylem, the complex permanent tissue that conducts water and dissolved mineral salts upward from root to leaves, is called a xylem. I repeat, the complex permanent tissue that conducts water and dissolved mineral salts upward from root to leaves is called a xylem. Xylem consists of tracheids, vessels, or trachea, xylem parenchyma, and xylem fibers. Tracheids are unicellular while trachea are multicellular. The cells have thick walls and many of them are dead cells. Tracheids and vessels are tubular structures and this allow them to transport water and minerals vertically. The parenchyma stores food and helps in the sideways conduction of water. Xylem fibers provide mechanical strength to the plants. Second type is phloem. This complex tissue is concerned with the translocation of organic food materials from leaves to various plant organs. The phloem comprises of sieve cells, sieve tubes, companion cells, phloem parenchyma, and phloem fibers. The sieve tube is an important component of phloem. The transverse walls of sieve tubes are perforated and are called sieve plates. Except the phloem fibers, phloem cells are living cells.